Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I don't know about you folks, but my coins have been pumping recently. And of course, Bitcoin recently breaking above $40,000. That hasn't really set off any of the altcoins that I hold, at least not at this point, but Bitcoin always leads the way. But even setting that aside, Bitcoin has been running up over the last couple months or so in particular. And my altcoins have been following. How about yours? And so look, let me say this at the outset. XRP is unquestionably my favorite cryptocurrency and my largest individual holding by a lot. And in fact, my XRP is worth about 4 times what my second largest holding is in terms of United States dollars. And my second largest holding is currently Bitcoin. But, I hold close to 30 different cryptocurrencies. So, so that I have reasonably broad exposure to the crypto asset class. I kind of made my own little index fund effectively, right? Focusing almost exclusively on large cap and mid cap coins. Because look, I'm not a degenerate. Though nothing against any of you if you consider yourself to be one and you're all about, the high risk, high reward bets, investing in the small cap coins and the tiny meme coins that nobody's heard of. If that's your jam, good on you. That's just not for me. I think that crypto's risky enough without delving into that particular pool. But good on anybody that's doing well with it. That's not the world I want to live in. And so I focus, again, almost exclusively on large cap and mid cap coins. Now, there's one particular coin that I've been down on substantially for almost the entire time I've held it. I've held it since the very beginning of this year. But I've been down substantially. It's just been cratering this year. But it's popped recently, and check this out. And this is the reason I want to highlight this, just to show you how quickly stuff happens. It has popped up dramatically recently to the point where it's actually now my 4th largest individual holding. Life happens fast in the world of crypto. So your coins, they're always going to be jockeying for position here, but it's just interesting. And then there was an interesting conversation on that sprouted up as a result of me sharing some of this information on social media platform X. And I thought for fun I'd kind of run through that because I always enjoy thoughtful discourse and back and forth. And there was some thoughtful discourse from a couple different individuals, which I enjoyed, and I thought that you guys might as well. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And what coin am I talking about that popped off? For me, it's Flare. This is a coin that I was down on dramatically for almost the entire year. Now I'm actually up on it. And so check this out. I posted the following. This is on December 1st. Flare... And by the way, this isn't some sort of flare video. This is just like it's just an example. Like this could be any coin. I didn't know it was going to pop now. I just had confidence that it likely would in the future, and now it has. And so I wrote, Flare is up 40% over the past 30 days, up 20% over the past 24 hours. The 11 millionth example of people screaming a coin is dead at local lows, only for it to ultimately surge in substantial fashion. Rinse and repeat, I'm for it. And my friends, that is exactly what happened. And I'll note, look, I understand that even though it's true that I'm up a lot on my crypto investments, including Flare at this point, I'm up a good bit on Flare, it's very possible that I can end up back in the red in the short term. And if that happens, because I've been through that, I've had that happen. I'm way down for a long period of time, then I'm back up, yay, but then I'm back down. That happens. But if that happens, I'll probably be enticed to buy again, frankly. Because look, I've been through this so many times, it's second nature to me at this point. I was underwater in my investment for XRP for most of the first 3 years that I held it, and it doesn't matter. And things have been going in such a way that, most of my coins, I'm actually, I'm in the black again, like not looking too bad, or the green. Green sounds better, right? So I'm in the green on almost all of them at this point. But I'm very open about this stuff. Like, just go back to my videos from like over the summer. I was like, I'm down on a lot of my coins, like especially the ones that I bought over the last 3 years. But I also didn't care because I've already been through this, and I know that it's going to range and it's going to shake a lot of people up, but not me, because it does what it does. And then if I have more money that I want to invest, then I got to put it somewhere. Then maybe I throw it into crypto, and I've been doing that. And so it's interesting though, and I think that this is just kind of a lesson in how to approach stuff. And not that, look, I'm not telling you to buy or sell or hold anything. You do whatever you want. This is just, like, to me, it's just further instilling what I already believe to be true. Because I bought more Flare. So I was down substantially in October. And the price, I mean, it was just crazy. Like the sentiment around Flare was dismal. People were on social media just crapping all over. Oh, it's just such a terrible thing. It's never going to do anything ever again. It's dead. And so when I saw that, I got interested. I was like, oh, well, I am down substantially on this, but I've seen this movie before. When sentiment gets like this and price actually is down substantially compared to earlier in the year, yeah, I'm interested. And so there is a post from the Flare community X account, and they wrote the following. And this is October 19th, mind you, this year. When the amount of people that believe a price of an asset is going lower reaches a maximum, it usually starts going higher. When the amount of people that believe a price of an asset is going higher reaches a maximum, it usually starts going lower. And so here's my response to that. On October 19th, I wrote, yep, and I'm thinking about buying more Flare today. Sentiment is dismal. And so look, I'm just watching everybody on social media scream about how awful Flare is. It's crap. We see, told you it was a bad coin. It's stupid. STLLPID, stupid. That's the sentiment there. And so I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to buy more. And then the Flare community wrote back to me and said, for sure, but that's a good thing for those who understand market psychology, right? It's funny. The people screaming how amazing Flare is when it's going up are the same people urging people to sell at the lows. It's a telltale sign of an emotional investor that believes developments/utility of a network are directly correlated to the price of the native asset. Yep, that's spot on. And so I actually did end up purchasing more that day. And I increased my holdings by a lot. Here you can see 3:12 p.m., October 19th, 2023. I wrote, if anything, the utility and future prospects for Flare have never been better, though the price has never been lower. And by the way, I'll just pause and note, that is literally true. That day, you'll see in a second, I'm going to show you the chart, the lowest it's ever been. Even as of now, that was the low point. That day was, anyway. And I then said, I bought more Flare this morning, increased my total holdings by about 45%, and wrapped it immediately. Yeah, so I wrapped it and delegated it, of course, because then you get more free Flare each month. But again, that was October 19th. Look at the chart. This is a 90-day chart on Live Coin Watch. Look at how it went down, and you can see the very bottom here. That is October 19th. And this is pure coincidence. This is not me saying I'm some sort of wizard. I'm just a dude who's like, oh, the price is low. I was like, I'll buy more. It'll probably go lower. And it happened to be the case that it didn't go lower. Not that I bought the literal bottom, but I bought, so the low point was on that day, I bought on that day. And so maybe it went like a fraction of a whatever decimal point over in terms of a penny down below. And so maybe I was like technically down for like a hot minute. But it is pure coincidence. This usually doesn't happen for me. This is not to be expected. This is not normal. It just happened to be the case, so that's kind of cool, I guess, since it's so rare. But even to buy the bottom like on the same day, that is something. And so it was 0.83 cents at the time. 0.83 cents. And it ended up running quite a bit, up to close to 1.5 cents ultimately. So again, about 40% up from as of 2 days ago anyway. So look at that chart. It is kind of fun when you nail it, like just about nail the bottom, because that is so rare. This is probably the closest I've been in this over 6 years. I don't have another example like this. This is the one for me. So like just, it's like like a fishing story and catching the big fish. Like, well, I guess most of those are crap. But the same thing in crypto, actually. I think people lie about a bunch of stuff, but this is the one for me that's actually real. And again, like I acknowledge it could go lower, but it doesn't matter. Like even if it goes lower, the concept I'm sharing with you is still true. It still rings true. It always has. It always will, because we're the same humans with the same DNA, whether we're investing in equities or crypto, whatever. And so you can see how it just went up, and I just keep holding. And I am up substantially now. My fourth largest individual crypto holding, and we haven't even got to euphoric. This is how I treat my crypto, and this is why I try to idiot-proof my own investment process. Like I keep saying, I've been doing this for 6 years. I buy stuff and I do not sell. Either it goes to zero and I'm just like, in which case maybe I just never sell it. I guess it just sits there at zero. Or it becomes worth a lot, and then I'll be enticed to sell at some point. That's it. That's it. It's very unsophisticated, but it works. And that, as unsophisticated as it is, I believe is way better than people trying to time markets and get in and out of positions. I can't stand that crap. It's not for me. But that's what most people do, I think, when they're speculating. It's just they're getting impatient. They feel emotions. Oh, I'm missing that. Oh my God, it's going to go lower. I better sell. It's just the FOMO and the panic. I'm not going to have a part of it. And so I stupid proof this for myself as much as I can. I just hold. And I didn't know that this was going to bounce 40% in such a short time period. I'm just a dude. Like, there's nothing special about me whatsoever. But that kind of proves the point. Like, anybody listening can do this. You just have to have conviction. You know, that's it. And so I'm way up on my crypto holdings. And a lot of other coins have been trending upwards too. It's just this is the biggest pop for me for now. Who knows? Like in terms of my top coins, there'll be various coins I'm sure jockeying for a position over the next 12 to 24 months, whatever it ends up being. Fun stuff here though, and so happy to see all of that. Now, here's what I want to pull up next. And then there was some back and forth with a couple individuals, and I appreciate thoughtful discourse because it's basically a chance to expand ideas with other XRP community people. So I appreciate this, even if people don't feel the same as me. Like, I don't get offended by ideas that are different than me, as long as people are not being rude. You can tell me I'm wrong, like to your blue in the face. That's fine, totally cool with that. I just don't, as long as people aren't being rude. And so there's somebody here from our community named Paul who responded to me noting that Flare was up 40%. Oh, and by the way, I will note, even now, it's dipped back down a little bit because it's been 2 days. It's still up 31.74% over the last 30 days. It's still up that, because nothing goes up in a straight line forever. So that's still pretty damn substantial here. And I think the party's just getting started, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so after noting that at the time, 2 days ago, Flare was up 40%, Paul wrote to me and said, still only 1 cent. And so I saw that, and my brain started working and moving. I'm thinking, so what's that? What's the price doesn't matter. And so here's what I wrote to expand upon that. I wrote, the percent gains are what matters, not price. Price is largely a function of circulating supply. If there's a 40% increase and the price is $1,000, or there's a 40% increase and the price is 1.5 cents, makes no difference in terms of profit. And by the way, I selected 1.5 cents because that's about what the price of each Flare token was at that particular point in time. A 40% increase is a 40% increase, period, full stop. That's it. The price doesn't matter. So, I mean, think about it. So Bitcoin hitting $40,000 today. If there were half as much Bitcoin in existence, then instead of Bitcoin being $40,000, it would be $80,000. But the same people would have put the same amount of available money they had into Bitcoin. It would make no difference. And if instead there were twice as much Bitcoin as there is today, if there were twice the available Bitcoin, twice as mined, instead of Bitcoin being $40,000 today, it would be $20,000 today. It doesn't matter. People still would have had the same amount of money, put in the same amount, and the same market dynamics would still be playing out. The fact it's 1.5 cents at the time that Paul wrote this is immaterial. It doesn't matter. So that's the point that I was trying to make. That's pretty much it. Now, Paul wrote to me and said, for perspective, when the token was an IOU for XRP on some exchanges, its trade-in price was up to $2. The expectation from people hyping it clearly disappeared once the token finally launched and everyone sold it. Up to 40%, down 1,000% in my mind. So there you go. I said 40%, and he's up 40%. And that was over the last 30 days at that particular point in time. Which means it was up even more if you look compared to October 19th. I didn't do the math on that, but it would be greater. But anyway, so up 40%, but he says it's down 1,000% in his mind. And that doesn't make sense to me. And so nothing against him. Like I said, of course, he's entitled to his opinion. I just respectfully disagree and feel differently. And I was confused by the first part because he wrote, token was for an IOU for XRP. I still don't know what he means by that. And so here's what I wrote in response. Did you mistype something? What does it mean that Flare was an IOU for XRP? Do you mean to say... I just scrolled and lost my spot here. Oh, I got it, yeah. Do you mean to say that there was an IOU for Flare on 2 different exchanges, including BitTrue? And so I'll pause and note, that's what I think he meant, rather than an IOU with XRP, which doesn't make any sense as far as I know. There were IOUs trading on 2 different exchanges. One of them, I believe, was BitTrue, And so I think that's what he's talking about. And so an IOU, it's just a representation of the future holdings, because there are people that had their XRP on those exchanges, so they were waiting to get the Flare airdrop, or I guess you just call it a Flare drop. That's what it's actually called. And the Flare drop is an airdrop. But anyway, getting into semantics here. But anyway, so they had their XRP waiting for the Flare drop. And in the meantime, these exchanges made decisions that they could make more money to have an IOU, a representation of what the future product would be, and the people are trading that. But it wasn't even on a blockchain. It was just like a database in there. So I wrote the following. If you're talking about the price of the IOU, that was not Flare. In fact, the blockchain wasn't even live. People were trading a thing that didn't exist and was not Flare. The transactions were numbers in a centralized database held by the exchange. It's just something that two different exchanges did. To say that the price action of an IOU, which didn't operate on a blockchain, is somehow the same thing as Flare itself is inaccurate. Speculators clearly were not treating the IOU and the actual Flare the same way. Actual tokenomics weren't even at play with the IOU. Currently, Flare is moving in tandem with the rest of the crypto market, which is what one should expect. And unfortunately, I never heard back from him, so I didn't get any clarification there. But here, showing this on the screen again, the Flare price, if I go to the all-time price for Flare, you can see what we're talking about here. Because it's reporting the all-time high price for Flare is $2.45. That is literally not true, and Live Coin Watch should not be reporting this. You see how it fell off a cliff here? It fell off a cliff here when there were no longer IOUs, and it actually went live. Here you can see, look at this, January 12th of this year. That's when it went live. And then you have a real price. So the first real price is about 4.3 cents. That was it. That's the first real price. All the rest of this year, this is not even Flare. You might as well have just slapped a completely different cryptocurrencies chart right on top of this, because that's how little it means. It means nothing. It's just wild speculation on a thing that didn't even exist. On one exchange here, one or two exchanges, you know? That's it. So I think they should get rid of it. It doesn't make sense. In fact, if you go to CoinMarketCap, they don't even show this data. Live CoinWatch does, CoinMarketCap doesn't. CoinMarketCap has it right in that instance. And I love Live CoinWatch, but this is a critique I have. They should delete this because it's not Flare. It flat out is not Flare. Delete this. Or if you don't want to delete it, call it Flare IOU. Do that. I don't care. But this is nonsense. And then there is this. Crypto Potato responded to me and wrote, "Too bad the tokenomics are straight up trash. Tokens with bad inflation rates will have a hard time reaching their previous all-time high." And so here's my response to that, and it's a fair critique. I'm not coming from the same headspace as that. That's not the way that I'm looking at this stuff. And so I responded with the following. Because look, there are a lot of coins that are either actually inflationary, or even if they're not coded to be inflationary in the short term, they are. Like maybe like in Bitcoin's case, like there's a max supply, but in the short term, the circulating supply is going to increase as more Bitcoin gets mined. So there's stuff like that. And then the way that it's reported on Live CoinWatch and CoinMarketCap and pretty much every platform under the sun, if you look at XRP, what's in circulating supply, well, as Ripple sells their holdings, which I argue are actually in circulating supply, as they sell their holdings, because again, Ripple's not the issuer. They're not the issuer. They're not the first holder of the crypto of XRP that they hold. But still, platforms don't consider it to be in circulation until Ripple is no longer holding it. And so as a result of that, you see the circulating supply for XRP increase. That's what's reported anyway, right? So, you know, so it's going to be, in theory, like way more XRP in circulation once it's all out there, like twice as much. But I don't care. Why don't I care? Well, let's proceed. So I responded to Crypto Potato and said, not if demand substantially outpaces the increase in circulating supply. What if supply doubles, but demand has a 40x increase? People focus too much on supply and not enough about potential future demand. And so Crypto Potato responded to me, at least seemingly at that point, I thought that he probably wasn't agreeing with me, because I'm just thinking, yeah, even if you don't like that, there's more entering the space. It all evens out in the end because people have the money that they have. It enters the space, or it doesn't based on demand. And so if demand's going to be way higher, which is what I'm counting on crypto in general, then what the hell do I care if the supply is increasing at a fair bit? I just don't care. And so Crypto Potato responded to me and said, let's take Filecoin for example. Probably the worst one. It was around 63 million circulating supply when it hit its all-time high. If it had decent inflation, it would be around $30 to $40 right now. It would have to be higher than Tether to get back to its all-time high. It does matter. Oh, look, again, I didn't say that tokenomics don't matter. I didn't say supply doesn't matter. What I said is that demand is ultimately going to matter way, way, way more. And I dispute what he's saying here because, you got Filecoin. It's somewhere, I think, a little south of $5. So if he's talking about, he's claiming here, if not for the bad tokenomics, it would be $40. Now, I'm not great at math, but on the high end, that would be 8 times higher than it is now. So let me ask you, did the supply of Filecoin increase 8-fold? No, not even close to that. Not even close to that. So the supply is not the problem. The demand is the problem, very obviously. Right? And so I responded to him and said, I disagree with what you're saying in this post, but let's stay on topic conceptually. Because you can complain about an increase in circulating supply for tons of coins. XRP circulating supply is going to nearly 2x eventually, but I don't care because I expect demand to substantially outpace that. Are you less optimistic than me about substantially more money moving into crypto? And so look, in the end, that is what matters to me. I think there's almost no money in crypto. It's a tiny market cap for the entire asset class of whatever it is, 1.4, 1.5 trillion, whatever the hell it is right now. It's almost nothing. It's a rounding error. So if I'm right, and I bet most of you feel the same, so I could say if we are right and way more money flows in and we have a market cap of tens of trillions of dollars, then who cares if the price doubles, or the supply rather doubles, or even triples? It's not necessarily going to matter. And then Crypto Potato responded, and at this point it seemed like he agreed a little bit more. He said, of course I agree. More money will flow into crypto. The problem is the coins with terrible inflation rate will have to have a lot more demand, money, pumped into them to reach previous all-time high, more than coins with decent inflation rates. Yeah, and so that's true, but again, my point is more important. That's what I'm saying. Demand is more important than supply, and it all comes out in the wash. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the end. And I mean, the inflation rates for coins in general, like, it's pretty well known in almost every case. It's understood, and so market dynamics play out. So what, And so anyway, I thought it was a fun back and forth, and I appreciate, the fun discourse here. So thank you very much, Crypto Potato, and also thank you very much, Paul, for your comments. It's fun to have an opportunity to have a little dialogue like this. So let me know what you guys think. I just thought I'd share some conceptual stuff. And so look, all this, it applies to the entire crypto space. This stuff applies to XRP. Eventually, XRP is going to be the one that also goes, and it's going to melt faces, and it's going to be fantastic. We just don't know for sure when. And so either you have exposure when that happens, or you do not. And I will. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.